Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking into a really shocking UK property investment scam. It's one that massively exploited community trust.
Yeah, devastating effects for so many. And one name keeps coming up again and again from the victims, Ghazala Din.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So our mission here is to unpack how this whole fraud actually worked, look at the heartbreaking human cost, and think about what it tells us about trust, especially in tight-knit communities.
Right. And financial vigilance, too.
Okay, so let's get into the mechanics. How was this pitched? What was the actual offer?
Well, the core idea presented was a property investment opportunity, pretty standard on the surface.
And the structure they promised.
Investors were told to put in a lump sum. In return, they were guaranteed, supposedly monthly payments, good returns.
Guaranteed returns, always a bit of a flag, but okay. And then?
And then the big hook, a really substantial lump sum payout after just 12 months.
Only 12 months.
Yeah, which they claimed would come from the sale of the property involved in the investment. Sounds very tempting, doesn't it?
Incredibly tempting. So how did it seem legitimate, especially at the start? Because clearly people bought into it.
Well, and this is kind of the fascinating, cynical part. The early investors actually did get paid. They received those monthly returns.
So it wasn't immediately obvious something was wrong? They were actually seeing money.
Precisely. That wasn't just, a mistake. It was the engine of the fraud.
Uh-huh.
New money coming in was used to pay the earlier investors.
A classic Ponzi structure, basically.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
And it worked brilliantly to create this false sense of security. People thought, it's working, I'm getting paid.
Which naturally led them to reinvest.
Often, yes. Bigger sum sometimes.
Mhm.
And crucially, they started telling friends, family, encouraging them to join too.
Were there incentives for that?
But
Referrals?
yes, bonuses were often promised for bringing new people in, so it created this powerful network effect.
Using existing trust within families, within communities.
Exactly. That's social proof. Seeing your neighbor or cousin getting payments, that becomes much more convincing than any abstract warning. It bypasses normal skepticism.
A really devastatingly effective psychological angle.
It is.
And then inevitably the whole thing is to fall apart.
Yes. By 2021, the structure just collapsed. The payments completely stopped. No monthly returns, no promised lump sums.
And the organizers, Ghazala Din.
Vanished, disappeared. Communication just ceased.
The scale here is, well, it's staggering, isn't it? What are we talking about in terms of losses?
Victims across the UK are reporting losses totaling over £5 million. £5 million.
Wow. And connecting that to the human impact.
Yeah.
These weren't necessarily wealthy speculators, were they?
No, absolutely not. Many were just ordinary families, pensioners using their savings, people saving for a deposit for their future.
And the scam specifically targeted these close-knit communities.
Very much so. It relied heavily on those personal referrals we mentioned. Face-to-face meetings, reassurances given in people's own homes, building that personal connection.
Which makes the betrayal even worse.
Immense emotional toll. We saw that quote from a victim, didn't we? I feel embarrassed and ashamed, but Ghazala Din was very convincing. That really sums up the manipulation involved.
And before they disappeared, were there excuses? Reasons given for delays?
Oh, a whole stream of them. Banking issues, unforeseen delays with property sales, the usual stalling tactics before they just went silent.
And here's something really concerning. Despite all this coming out, there were reports suggesting Ghazala Din might still be active, still allegedly targeting new victims.
That's what's being reported, yes. Using very similar methods, which is deeply worrying.
It just makes you ask, how could this go on for years? Especially when victims seem to have gathered evidence, voice notes, messages, records.
That's a critical question, isn't it? How did it operate under the radar for so long? Part of it is, I think, the nature of the scam itself using that trust, that initial embarrassment victims feel.
Maybe a reluctance to report someone they knew or initially trusted.
Possibly. Or just hoping against hope it would somehow resolve itself. Plus, tracing funds in these often informal networks can be incredibly difficult for authorities.
So victims feel let down.
They express a real sense of abandonment, yes. And now they're actively trying to band together, share evidence, and build pressure for a proper official investigation.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you listening? I think this deep dive really shows the destructive power of scams that target trust, not just greed.
Right. They exploit the very fabric of community connections. That makes them uniquely insidious.
And it hammers home the need for skepticism, even when things look good initially, especially those guaranteed high returns. And it highlights this ongoing fight for justice for people who've lost so much.
And maybe a final thought for you to consider. What can you take away about the absolute necessity of doing your own independent checks, your own due diligence on any investment, no matter how trusted the person referring it is?
Even if it's family or a close friend.
Especially then, perhaps? And also, how can we as communities foster environments where people feel safer talking openly about financial worries or red flags before it's too late?